saga begins. Begin war. Saga begins. Begin war. The saga begins. Begin war.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's match between the Shanghai Staggered against the Florida Harmony. Your host, Julik here, and with me tonight, I have Spiff-tastic me, your play-by-play caster, alongside Childish Rambino, your colorcasters. Guys, good evening. Welcome. Let's quickly talk about how excited both of you are to cast this crazy match that's going to happen tonight for us. Spiff?
It's Sunday! Happy Sunday! Basically my top two favorite teams in the OWCC, Shanghai Staggered, Florida Harmony. I see a lot of them hanging around with me, and I'm excited to see them both go head to head. And starting on Anubis, yes.
Anubis is an interesting map. Rambino, how are you feeling tonight?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Julik. It is always fun to know that these two titans of the OWCC will be duking it out tonight, and there will only be one winner. So, here's to a good game, gentlemen.
Spiff, this question's for you. I'm pretty sure Rambino and I and yourself, we've casted both teams. We've seen them throughout the season. Let's focus on Stagger first for a quick minute. What are we looking to see, or what are we expecting to see from them on Anubis?
Because the first point Anubis is so high ground intensive, I'm expecting to see Chicken Nugget come out on Winston, like right out of the gates. And I expect him to maybe dash forward to get maybe not direct support from Ranger, who I think would probably go maybe Diva or push forward on a Reinhardt, but I'm wondering how the tanks from Shanghai are going to initiate to start creating space so they can get onto them.
Rambino, this question's for you. We know the Florida Harmony is coming in with the momentum on their side. You think they're going to be showing that in this match? You think that height still alive and burning for them to face Staggered here?
So the momentum here is going to be a big decider factor. However, I would like to point out, Staggered still has been the best on control points. So, if we see a Lee Jung Tower tonight, or maybe a...
I'll run out of breath.
Basically.
I want to know, Spiff, you know Shanghai Stagger very well. I want you to tell me one of the players that you think is going to pop off, or that needs to pop off for their team. Obviously, we know it's a team effort game, but at the end of the day, we do see those players, those key players come online. So who are you expecting that player to be for Staggered?
What I'm thinking Staggered, I see all of them kind of work cohesively as a unit and being like not one role sticking out, but I'm expecting to see Mama RG pop off with those heals. Positioning is going to be great, and getting those key reses when needed, especially if Chicken Nugget is going to be diving forward. If he's destroyed on top of a high ground, I can see her trying to maybe sneak in and get that back, because getting any big tank body back lets you keep moving forward in the fight, versus when someone dies and comes and then the other team's able to push forward on that advantage, then they cancel the advantage with that res. So that's if RG decides to play Mercy, and I hope we do.
All right, and Rambino, who are you looking forward to see on the Harmony side? Anyone in particular that you would like to see pop off or kind of like stand out on tonight's match?
So we don't have any big power players on Harmony as far as it goes. However, the team, as we know, they've got a lot of momentum going for them. And that being said, you can only maintain momentum when it's team cohesion you're focusing on.
Excellent. We want to see everyone press W when you have to press W. And the first map for tonight is going to be, it's confirmed, it's going to be Temple of Anubis. Guys, I would like to know your thoughts on that map. Personally, Spiff, did you like it? It's one of your favorites. Do you not like 2CP like everyone else?
I mean, I like 2CP. It's probably the least favorite of them, but I do really like Anubis because I love the first point, the number of options the defenders have for positioning, the number of attack directions they can do on attack. Although there is a choke, the choke itself is split with the big pillar, so you can quickly decide if you want to come straight forward, go straight to the right, or straight to the left. And I just like the ability to not have to run into a single gate on Hanamura, so that's just why I like Temple of Anubis, just much more.
So we are about to get ready here on the first map. Once again, as you can see on your screen, the first map is 2CP, Temple of Anubis. It's going to be a very exciting match coming up. Rambino, any final thoughts before you guys take off?
No, I don't, Julik, but without further ado, good luck, have fun, both teams. Let's get this underway. Spiff, why don't you give us a wind-up on what we got on both sides?
Wind up again, on 2CP capture point essentially is this first map on a Temple of Anubis. On your top left, in your blue is going to be your Shanghai Staggered. Top right in your red is going to be your Florida Harmony. Florida is going to be the first ones on attack. So on defense, I want to see this lineup they have going. Rambino, what is Shanghai doing here on defense?
Well, I'm gonna have to definitely keep my eye on that Symmetra. I personally love Symmetra, especially on maps like this, because you've got lots of flexibility and mobility, but they've got a nice clean setup with an Orisa here on the top ledge. I do predict that will be dangerous if they don't punish the reses, which Shanghai somehow goes unpunished all the time.
As they are going to set up basically on what's quickly becoming the term of treehouse. Up on the top of the treehouse, they're going to be defending basically above the point, causing the attackers to come all the way forward. And first off, they're going to try and move forward into the right, into the choke. They're going to go left to kind of give less sight lines and less opportunity for poke damage. So Florida's going to go through the little cubby hole to the left here. And their composition is relatively brawly, but they're hoping for Vax to put a lot of pressure on that Widow, who is then being dug in upon right now. Chicken Nugget in the back on D.Va, trying to get in Vax. He gets bubbled again by Zarya. Keep him alive. He is still really, really low, but good response time from Hydro to keep Vax alive. He is still half and not being healed up at the moment, but they are moving the fight to the point, not quite getting the take. Vax is going to find Mama RG with a nice headshot to the face. Chicken Nugger punches Boss Face in the face, but it's not going to be undone because Pickle Bingus gets the retaliatory kill. Panda is falling as well right now. It is Florida winning this fight, getting 2 ticks right now as Vax pops off another headshot onto Super King Nick. And they are going to continue to try and stall. They move onto the point to kind of maybe get that few extra seconds, but it's going to be first push success here for Florida Harmony.
Now, I don't think we saw any ultimates being used on either side there, but that is normally the case on the first point. We don't see a lot of engages, especially when Florida Harmony, they're really good at just capitalizing on picks.
They go straight onto the point as well. They're not going left, right, or underneath. Got a flanking Reaper who does and a grenade onto Ranger, getting really, really low. Is going to be taken out by Bray. Vax winning the Widow duel against Mears. And getting a double kill onto RG as well. Triple kill gets Chicken Nugger. Vax has popped off on Florida Harmony, allowing 2 ticks already. Are they even going to get to the third tick? They get it uncontested. 2-team fight all the way to the second point for Florida Harmony against Shanghai.
That was decisive, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a very interesting second round. And on the control points, I'm looking forward to the same momentum. Florida definitely giving Shanghai right now a run for their money.
Here are. Vax was popping off in the background. Despite getting pressured on that first point, he was able to find the picks to get the room cleared so that we got the kills that came out. And it's just, they basically just walked from the spawn to point A to point B, and they have over 6 minutes in their time slot.
Now, a quick question I have for you, Reaper. Is it a choice that we approve of here?
I'm curious. Super King Nick, as far as I'm concerned, is known for being a very good Reaper, going either with the team or finding those flanks, getting a pick, and running away. And I'm expecting that when the PTR patch goes live, Reaper getting a bigger buff, I am assuming that he's going to do a lot more flanks because he has more sustainability for himself. In the higher tiers, Reaper is still very much contested to be not worth it, not a very good hero, because he is very easily shut down if with a coordinated team assault. Everybody finds him, they kill him. If they have no wraith, you kill him. It's kind of like a Zarya with no personal. You can just go forward and click his head, and he dies. But coming here on defense for Florida Harmony, do we have anything new coming out from what Shanghai did last round?
This team comp looks a little bit more conservative. I mean, we do have a Widowmaker, which a good Widow is the difference between losing a choke or just being steamrolled. So we will definitely keep an eye on that.
Here on attack for Shanghai, Chicken Nugger has gone on to the Monkey. So double main tank as Ranger River is also going to be doing the Reinhardt. They moving together as a team, trying to give as less sightlines as possible to Vax there on Widow for Florida. So they're going to move up to the top right, and they are going to be met with some Junkrat spam and poke damage. Vax is going to be backing up actually all the way to the bottom side, using grappling to come try and see if anybody's actually coming through the front, because he's trying to find Mearst in the background. Mearst is going to be taken out by Vax, so now Vax does have kind of the free reign to snipe however he does choose as the fight has moved on to the point. Super Connect falls down to Bray's hammer, and Boss Face finds Ranger Hoover. Chicken Nugger does get Gregory, but it's still right now very much in favor of Florida as Mama RG falls down to the hammer of Bray. And they're going to get pushed back, and they're going to reset and see what else they had to do, although I do agree with their choice here to go to the top right as opposed to straight down the middle.
I do notice that the Mercy is definitely being punished for moving, which is exactly what you want to do. You want to prevent those reses from being pulled off. Otherwise, it will be a lot of momentum-based issues for Florida.
They are deciding to move bottom left this time instead of to the right. Now, Vax, of course, is kind of is zoning that has very good sight lines to where that is. So keeping that Rhine shield up is going to be very important. Do not allow him. Chicken Nugger dives forward to make Vax reposition. No grappling hook, but the cooldowns between the Monkey's jump and the grappling hook of a Widow is in favor of the Winston. Now Vax is up on high. Chicken Nugger is going to be mowed down by Hydro. Mama RG getting revenge in Valkyrie form, getting Vaxxed. Super King getting Pickle Binions. Right now, Bray does get a double kill, but RG with that res back on Panda. Oh, his Bray right now has been Ana boosted, is trying to swing and do damage, but is actually not finding much for most of his swings. He can die right into the Diva Bomb. Is not going to be able to go into Wraith form. Hydro does get down Super King Nick. It is Bray here, who does his sink, he does his shatter by himself, does find 2 and a 3 on the ground, but no one to follow up. Mears does finish him off, and Vax does find Mears for that, but it's going to be Shanghai ability to get the third fight win here on point A for Anubis.
Shanghai was able to push onto that point rather effectively. Now, the team fight was a bit dragged on, but they banked just under a minute less than Florida Harmony, so I suspect we could see another double overtime, so to speak.
We have eyes out from the side of Florida, firing the hole for Boss Base, triple kill, Panda, Super King, and Ranger. Wanted to give a hug to a tire, and then it exploded in their face. They're going to go ahead and reset and back up one more time.
I don't know about you, Spiff, but I'm feeling pretty tired after that play.
Oh, Rambino, Hydro does find the pick on Mears as they were trying to retreat. Now, especially if Widow is going to be up here on, basically on top of what I would call the arch for down the main, you can see all avenues of attack. Diva's actually poking from up here. Junkrat's up here to make sure that if Chicken Nugger actually decides to dive up on top, he's going to be right into that trap. Well positioned, and they're going to die. They're going to go right down the forward. Widow or Hydro does dive down and go onto the point. Junkrat is behind and above them still. Shatter comes out, does get 2 on the ground. It's going to be Lucio ulted and Ana grenaded to make sure that nobody dies. Panda actually getting the kill onto Vax. Angry Monkey comes out. Hydro getting the pick on Ranger. It's still right now 4 members here. Valkyrie has popped on the side of Shanghai. Super King finding Boss Face, but Boss Face's last laugh does get RG. Chicken Nugger fighting the kill on the Gregory. Hydro getting Super King. It's going back and forth. Hydro is kicked out of his mech. It is just Panda here on the point as Chicken Nugger dives back and forth. It is just Bray now against the Monkey. The rest of his team comes forward, and they are going to get that respawn advantage, although Mears does find the last kill. Boss Face gets a nice pick onto Mears, and Panda falls as well, so it's going to be another reset for Shanghai. They have just over 4 minutes left.
So we did see the swap off the Widowmaker, which obviously was a good choice here. But already they're off to a bad start here. Shanghai needs to get onto that point. They need to take it, because even if they do, they still have to worry about another round with Florida Harmony.
And Florida Harmony having 4 ults is going to be more than welcoming for Shanghai. Say, come onto the point. It's fine. It's fine. Actually, since they have switched off of the Widow, they are more brawly. They have lost a lot of their range except for Boss Face trying to shoot some random grenades, and they're going to move on to the point. Super King up on the high ground doing a lot of force damage. Shatter comes down, does not RG down, but she's safely behind, but does get Boss Face, gets the entire kill onto Chicken Nugger. Vax fighting Ranger, and it's Super King Nick who's going to be left here as Vax does another cleanup. Super King Nick is going to try and get away. Might get chased down. Gregory's going to find the snipe on Tamir. Always a pleasure when I'm playing Ana to be able to snipe out a Widow. And Super King Nick is going to be safe and going to have the opportunity to regroup with his team. Now only 3 minutes left for Shanghai.
Now, these two teams are known for their Reapers, I believe, at some point, because I have not seen Vax personally play too many times with Reaper, but it's really strange to see both teams trying to make use of him and not trying to flank, which I feel with that Death Blossom could really be a big game changer.
Very well could. And we only have 50% on the side of Florida, but we do have the Death Blossom ready and willing here on the side of Shanghai. They're going far left. Now this is a great place for Junkrat to just shoot bombs. He is a little close. He's going to back up just a little bit. They are moving it forward. Shatter comes out, does get left to Bray it here on the ground. Super King Nick does die. A lot of them does a lot of damage, but it's not going to finish anyone off. Ranger's taking a nap. Wake up, sir. Valkyrie pops as well. Tire comes out, finds Super King Nick. Diva Bomb as well comes out, finds Panda from around the corner. Ranger is going to be onto the point trying to swing, but does fall. Mama RG gets the res on the Super King, trying to keep the fight alive, but right now it's still Florida holding strong. 6v4, 6v3. a Junker man. Boss face trying to finish off Mears, but he is going to get away as Steve dives forward. Gets the punch kill onto RG, and it's going to be a nice, unfortunate stagger on the side of Shanghai Staggered. 1 minute 45 now in their time bank.
Now, for those of you unaware, Shanghai Staggered is known for their control point maps. This is 2CP, that is true. However, the mechanics are still the same. They need to capture those 3 slices of the pie to win, and right now it looks like they're sweating bullets.
They are going to try moving forward onto the right. Mears just kind of poking down the middle. They're trying to actually decide which way do they want to go. On the side of Florida, there is going to be that Death Blossom and the Ana Boost that could actually shred through the entire team, and there is no defensive ults on their side. They're going to go ahead and boost all the way straight through onto the point. Shatter comes down from Bray, does knock 2 down, starts cleaning Chicken Nugget up. Vax getting a double kill. Blossom right in the archway onto Mears and RG. And it's going to be Shanghai only getting possibly 1 more fight as they are under 60 seconds.
I believe Shanghai just actually walked into that, and that was heartbreaking. It was almost as if it was a stage play.
They walked straight down the middle. They did boost onto the point, but they every time so far we've had people above and behind when they come down the middle from the side of Florida. Now there is another tire. That is what all they have. They're going to Melusi ult as well. For the defensive Florida on attack, there is Bob. There goes Bob. See Bob, he is right in the middle of the point. Die, right in the middle. Does get Bray. Shattered actually gets the kill on the Hydro. The tire finds Ranger retaliation, but Bob finds Gregory and is doing it and finds a double kill. Bob MVP. RG with a strong res, getting Super King Nick up, is going to allow for the 2 cap over to Shanghai this time as well.
I want to be happy for Staggered. I definitely do here, but I am nervous for them. This will be an uphill battle. 7 minutes for Florida. That is painful and very rare for any team to be up against. And with all the experience Shanghai has, all we can do is cross our fingers.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen 7 minutes, and I don't feel like they had exactly 6 minutes. So here's my question. Since Shanghai got a minute, Florida should have gotten a minute added on. Does that mean 7 minutes is the cap on how much time they would have?
I'm probably going to have to say yes, only because if they let you bank more time, it could theoretically lead to an infinite switch into a game that never ends.
Indeed. But they are going to have to switch sides, it looks like, or at least sometimes they go the same. It's going to be the same attack, same defense is how it works. So Shanghai is going to be on attack again. What do you think they need to change? Because it took them... it's taken them quite a few attacks both times to even get through the defense. They are coordinated. They are moving together as a team. It just seemed that Florida was finding opportunities, get those little picks, Vax with the headshots, and what really needs to change?
So it does look like Florida has done their homework. I mean, it almost felt like they were playing around Shanghai instead of playing against them, if that makes sense. They were expecting the plays exactly how they played out, and Florida generally has had the more cohesive team fight strategy.
Now Shanghai is deciding that they don't have a lot of time, so they're going to go right on the point, charge on the point, gets charged himself. Ranger Hoover gets charged, and then Ana grenaded from Gregory. They're already down 1, so it's 6v5 in favor of Florida. Fight is moving back there, trying to decide if they wanted to back up, but they're going to, as they try and decide that, 3 members of them fall down. Chicken Nugget is going to be the only one alive with Panda, and they're going to have 1 more push. No ults to speak of on either side, though.
This feels really predictive of Florida Harmony. It almost looks like they are anticipating everything down to the second, with all the teams moving exactly to their rhythm.
Charge comes from Bray, gets Chicken Nugget right after the bubble has fallen. Hydro's going to be able to finish him off, and it's just going to be a cleanup from Florida. Right after that, they tried to get on the point to move the fight there, but it's not going to be enough. Florida just didn't even let them get even half a tick.
And that's what we call efficient teamwork. Without a doubt, Florida has put their hand and foot forward as decisive.
Now there's 7 minutes. It is technically possible. Usually you don't have that much time even when you start the game to begin with. But 7-minute hold. Do you think shenanigans have to happen for on the side of Shanghai to make this stop Florida from even getting 1 tick? Or do you think they should stick with constant teamwork gameplay. And I would say they need to deal with Vax, especially on that first point. No matter if they were on attack or defense, Vax was finding those angles on Widow and destroying, getting headshots, killing RG several times, getting the Widow on the side of Shanghai every time he had the opportunity. Is that what you think that Shanghai needs to do, is basically shut down Vax and the rest of the team play together?
You do want to target a Widow, and it actually hurts that they don't have anything to go for that. I would say the Reaper, but obviously Widow can easily get away from that. You'd really want a Winston or something like that to start targeting her. Unfortunately, it looks like Florida is just working on predictive strategies that Shanghai has used in the past. So if they stick to that Bastion, I want to see a curveball thrown that will really decide the defense here for Shanghai.
I actually like their positioning up here. They're going to expect that Widow, and what they're doing is they're holding, instead of top of the point to the left, they're holding top of the point to the right. It's going to be harder for Vax to get a flanking or a good angle, and they're essentially seeing some. Panda is a little bit in the way. Elbow gets really low. Decides, you know what? I'll use the Orisa shield instead. Now, Mama RG actually shooting her pistol down to Vax. Gonna take them down. Just literally, Gregory goes down thanks to a Bastion being a Bastion. Ranger actually going to pick on Hydro as well. And right now, it's the opposite of what happened before. Because right now, Shanghai is clearing up a lot of Florida because they are in that bunker position, not allowing any sightlines or any picks or any poking whatsoever from Vax. So it's essentially a 6v5 in favor of the defending team Shanghai.
Now, we're seeing a treehouse, basically, again. But what they're sacrificing in ultimately angle coverage, they are getting in security. It will be a lot harder to assault them on the same level, so they have to get onto the point. And even then, it is dangerous for Florida.
RG actually being the one to touch point and diving back. Chicken Nugget finally back in the mech. It was dangerous not having you there before. Mears is kind of in the middle of them, surviving from that beautiful defense basis from Chicken Nugget. Pickle Bingus is going to finish him off anyway. Gregory falls to Chicken Nugget. Vax finds a pick on the Super King. We got a Eugene No Karaoke coming out from Boss Face. And it's going to be Boss Face and Vax filling up a lot of sides of the Florida kills. But Panda comes in double kill to Boss Face and Pickle Bingus. And it's just a lone Bray on the point to be the end. And it's going to be Florida Harmony taking Anubis, winning this series right now, 1-0.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take it to play of the game, brought to you by Vax as Widowmaker.
Sharpshooter, didn't see that coming.
Alrighty, the infrared vision is ready, but we're going to see some head clicking in just a moment there. There you go. How about a double kill for your money, punishing the res. Excellent job. And into the triple. Please keep this man in check.
That took some restraint. Now, guys, we are going to take a short break as we transition into the second map. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And we are back on this quick break in between game number 1 and game number 2 between the Shanghai Staggered versus Florida Harmony. Guys, what an exciting match. 7 minutes on the clock here for the side of Harmony to take that first point.
I don't think I've seen that before.
Me neither. It's a lot of time. This question is for you, Spiff. What was your reaction to that amount of time on the time bank for Harmony?
I was just like, wow, they're walking forward. They won the first fight. They didn't care about Treehouse. They moved forward, got the picks they needed. And I think Vax finding key picks in the middle, beginning, during the fight, just kind of let them just waltz right in. And Shanghai, who is very good at being cohesive as a team, was getting picked apart. And it's not that they let it happen. It just, wow, this is what happened.
I want to ask this question's for you, Rambino. Let's take a look at Shanghai on attack. They did manage to get the second point, obviously, but it took them almost the entire time bank. Do you think maybe a hit scan instead of a Widow and like in between like Ash is, which is what they actually swapped to and it worked? Do you think that was actually the call? My question essentially is, should they counter that that Widow with another Widow?
So oftentimes, to fight fire with fire isn't exactly the optimal strategy. I'm a little concerned that we didn't see a Winston try and dive her, try and get that dome down to force a team fight on the point. That probably would have resulted in a better team fight, hopefully. But we are seeing a sub-in for Ryudix, which I'm excited for because we've seen Genji, we've seen Doomfist. He loves Doomfist on Lijiang Tower. And we may see a Pharah too.
Okay.
Oh, yay, Legion.
What do you let's actually talk about the second map really quick. We know that it's going to be Lijiang Tower, and what are your expectations coming into map number 2 here for Shanghai Staggered? This question's for you, Spiff.
Shanghai, I think, is going to regain their footing for that loss on Anubis, because they are very well known. It's them and essentially the only other team that I know that's very good at control points can be Boston downsizing. But Shanghai has a very good win rate on it, especially when you bring in Runely, a fantastic Lucio. I'm looking forward to Lijiang because they hold points. They know where to push up. They know the maps well, so they know the chokes they need to use, and they know the retreats. They know their positioning, and it just seems that they know how to do. They've got control. They've got it down pretty well. So maybe they'll just come back. Second wind is happening now. Maybe they'll be as dominant on Lijiang as Florida was on Anubis.
Rambino, questions for you. What are you expecting from both teams coming into Lijiang Tower?
Well, based on Florida Harmony's methodology and the powerhouse that is Shanghai Staggered on control points, I will say this. Sun Tzu once said, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you need not fear the result of 1,000 battles. And whoever knows the other better will ultimately win this control point map.
Do you have like a saying up? Like, is that pulled up on a computer? Is that just random Rambino knowledge? I'm confused.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Spiff. I'm what you call an encyclopedia of random and useless trivia. Like, did you know there's a company in Paris that will kidnap you for a flat fee of $5,000?
Interesting. I like that. I don't.
You know what else is interesting is Florida is going to use a pause here so they can continue talking. Right now they're basically talking with their head coach, it's Epiol, as they're trying to decide who they want to use as their 5th pick, because they are doing a few of substitutions on both sides. And that's what's going to be happening in Florida.
My guess here is that they are who's going to use the pause actually? Is it going to be Shanghai or Florida?
Florida is using the pause.
Excellent. I'm actually going to think this is a tactical pause, and here's why. I'm going to relate this to when I used to play soccer in a team. What you want to do is essentially cool off the momentum, right? And for one, everyone knows the Shanghai Staggered are really, really good when it comes to control map. So now they just played the first map, didn't go their way, but they still warmed up. They're still ready to jump into something that they are very comfortable playing, right? So you can call it a tactical pause where Harmony says, you know what? Let's take our 5-minute break. Let's have them cool off. We get a breather. We know that they're better at this. But at the same time, we can play a little mind games here, right? And maybe trick them into thinking that we're actually planning a big counter to their strat and whatnot. So this, in my opinion, is an actual actual tactical pause. What are your thoughts here, Remy, on this? Do you think that Harmony has something under their sleeve, or they actually need a 5-minute break?
So I am simply going to say that it shows that they've done their homework. They have probably studied their opponent, and that is one of the best things you can do. You can get some intel. This is the case as in other sports like football, soccer, and the like. You want to know how your opponents play, because you play around that and you essentially make it so that you're not playing against them anymore. You are simply predicting what they will do and doing that.
Do you agree with my my conspiracy theory here, Spiff, that maybe Harmony are just that prepared coming into a control map, Lijiang Tower against Shanghai Staggered?
I want to believe not. I'm going to go against the conspiracy. My reasoning behind that is two reasons. One is Vax, who was on Anubis and on Florida Harmony. He's on my friends list, so I saw that he got logged off almost immediately. And they still have an empty slot on the Florida's roster right now. I'm wondering if they use the pause to try and give him time to get back. If not, I think they're going to have to throw maybe Boss Face back in there, because right now it does have that empty slot. So I'm going to say no. It's not a mind game pause. It's a pause hoping that Vax will get back on.
Excellent. With that in mind, we are actually going to take a quick 2-minute break. So when we come back, it should be map number 2, Lijiang Tower match between Shanghai Staggered against the Florida Harmony. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, and we are officially ready to take on Lijiang Tower. The map And the map that's going to be played here for second round between the Shanghai Staggered and Florida Harmony. Guys, are we feeling like we're going to see some fireworks coming up from both sides? Spiff?
Abso-freaking-lutely. And the reasons I'm excited for map number 2, Lijiang Tower, is because Shanghai is good at it, but also because Ryutix has come in. I love seeing his plays, and I love good Lucios because they're not sung enough. I'm going to be trying to pay more attention to Rune League comes in, maybe get some boops, but more than not, he is just positioning himself well, speed boosting when he needs to, healing when he needs to, and Mirari's coming as well. So I'm excited for the healers and seeing how they back up their DPS that comes in.
Rambino, we should be starting any minute now, getting into the map. But for Harmony, who are you looking forward to see step up to the plate on the Harmony side, on control map?
So I will say Vax was popping off. He has come back into the fray. I want to see more Widow play. I'm not sure if I want to see it on this map, but if he plays Widow and does well, then all the same.
It's a fun map indeed.
So here we go, guys. Map number 2 is ready. Lijiang Towers. Casters, take it away.
Again, happy Sunday. I am Swiftastic Me, and I'm here with Rambino. What are we doing? Lijiang Tower. Lijiang Tower is essentially the control map. It is 3 different versions of Lijiang Tower. We're on the first one. First team to get 2 out of 3 does win. That's how it works. Now, we do have in the top left is going to be your Shanghai Staggered. Top right is going to be your Florida Harmony. Florida Harmony is up 1 right now, but that means nothing when you have the puns and the buns of Childish Rambino, sir. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you as well, Spiff. It's always a pleasure to be casting alongside you. Now, looking at these teams, I am not surprised with the Ryutix pick on the Genji. It is almost a necessity, especially now that Florida is up 1 win. And these are control points. The stars have aligned, so to speak. Shanghai Staggered is in position to win this map, but they need to swap things up, and they've brought in some power picks.
Sure have. I'm curious what Florida's going to try and do, because they are going, they're going to have a fair Mercy up in the air. So Eklo, who has come in, is going to be up and be backed up by Pickle Bingus. They're going to be having the Rein Zarya on the ground, and Gregory, if they can find some great Ana grenades, the healing, the big AoE healing that's on the side of Shanghai right now will be kind of be eaten alive, because they are doing the Moira and the Lucio. Fair already up in the air, being pocketed, being tickled to death a little bit by Moira. The Reinhardt's backing for it. Chicken Nugger is going to be taken down by Vax with the right click stun kill. Ranger is getting hit really low, does get healed right back up. I like that the fight is actually on the point right now, but it might make this first fight exceptionally long. But Eklo is getting pickled down a little bit more. He is calling the attention of Pickle Bingus. Ranger does get taken down by Gregory, and Shanghai has actually kind of zoned out Florida to allow them to start getting these early ticks. Rudely does get taken down by Bray's hammer, but they are getting the point when basically 5 members of Florida was still there is huge. Eklo finding the pick from above onto Ryutix, and it's still, I'm just shocked that they were able to get that point already at 20%, and it's essentially still the first fight. Neither team won the other one. Ana Boost comes out onto Bray, and right now it's Florida cleaning up, getting the kills. Bray double kill onto Ranger and Rune Lee, and they are going to turn it over, but that was a free 29% for Shanghai.
Now, just as you said what was going on, Spiff, it looked like Florida Harmony was just waiting for their ultimates. They popped off and were able to clean up the point. However, Shanghai's reputation precedes them. They took that point first, as it should be. They are known for their craft, and I look forward to the next team fight, which could be bad if they aren't playing around those ultimates.
I love that small little detail from Ranger Hoover. He was up here waiting for his team. He decided to actually dash back to his team to let the team come forward behind his shield. Chicken Nugger putting forward a big, nice Ana grenade on Chicken Nugger. Angry Monkey comes out after Ranger has taken down Bray. Hydro is deleted by Super King. Double kill for Ranger. Mirari actually finding Vax. Right click no longer working. Eklo does find Ryutix once again, being a pain in the side of our Genji player, but that's going to be coming right back inside. Shanghai has taken it back, though. 38% has gone to Florida, but now they're tied.
Their next team fight will be very hectic. Even though Ryutix just has his ultimate, we have a sound barrier ready on the way in that next team fight. Florida has 5. It will be a force to reckon with in just a few moments.
They will be able to get this with the ult economy if they don't push too many Qs. If they push all the Qs, they'll lose the next fight, most likely. Vax is coming on the side, flanking. High Noon comes out, is going to get a double kill. Mirari and Chicken Nugget, but Inchix tries to stop it from happening. Punches him in the face. Super King does get a kill as well. It is right now 4v2 on the favor of Florida. And as Runely falls, it is just one more left here. Ryutix trying to stall for percentage, as you should on all control points. 73, 74%, but it goes back on the side of Florida.
Now, Florida does seem to display a bit of weakness here, but that being said, I am actually a little happy that we're seeing Shanghai Staggered sweat a little bit. They have gone too long, uncontested on these control maps.
Now, though, a nice charge. Eugene no karaoke does get stunned, but not enough for Gregory to get dashed in the face. Triple kill coming out from Ryutix. Dash, dash, slash. And Super King getting Hydro towards the end. That's going to be flipping it back over to Shanghai. 61% to Florida, and moving up to 80% for Shanghai. And they're going to hold very aggressive up here for this next fight.
Looks like I spoke a little too soon, but they could get punished if they push up too far. That Earth Shatter, that Coalescence will only do so much if it connects.
A shatter into a shield, stunned into a Reinhardt. A shatter does find two people inside the bubble of Chicken Nugger. Ryutix, however, is getting a triple kill in the back line. Vax, Picklebingus, and Gregory all fall. Mirari finds Bray as well. It is overtime. Eklo does get a double kill, but Ryutix shuts him down on point. First of 3 maps of Lijiang Tower go to Shanghai.
That was only the first round, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, and we already saw 2 team kills. Shanghai Staggered does not mess around on control points. Isn't that right, Spiff?
No, sir. Now, if Vax wanted to go sniper, this is, of the Lijiang maps, this one's most friendly because there is great high ground to kind of control the courtyard. You have great sightlines from very far cover near the statues to shoot onto the point. And you can also get booped off a lot. So I'm hoping Runely stays on Lucio, which he usually does. But I also just want to point out one thing for the viewers, is usually you don't see double main tank. You don't see the Winston, who is considered a main tank on the dive role of a tank, and then the Reinhardt, who essentially pushes forward with his gigantic shield main role. But it's been working very well for Shanghai, and Rambino, do you see that often?
I personally don't, but I am appreciative of it. Shanghai can afford to be a little bit more flexible right now. They've got the forward momentum going for them on this control point map, and just now we are seeing a very strong opening from Shanghai.
I believe Shanghai, using the speed boost from Runely right out of the gate, lets them get to the point first to set up a defensive point, and then they wait for the team to, the other team to come to them, because that's the win condition of the map. So them actually getting on point first just seems to work, and they were getting those picks. They got some great brine charges, double kills, and they kind of push forward after that. And here they are again. They are on the point. They are waiting for Florida to push forward onto the point. There is one flanker on the side. We have Mercy actually back there with Farah. Farah is on the point right now, but Chicken Nugger is cleaning up with that double kill. Ryutix punching Bray in the face. Echo getting low, does have his ult. Ranger Hoover getting the kill as well. Right now it's just Farah Mercy. Never mind, they get taken out as well. Ranger finding the Pickle Dingus with his hammer, and Super King shooting him with a shotgun up in the air to Eklo. And it's, again, 38% for Shanghai. What does Florida need to do?
Right now, I definitely want to avoid switches because we are seeing a swap into a Junkrat that may fix things, but they have to decide quickly. This next team fight could be very important. Banana boost onto the Shatter could be big.
The Coalescence use Shatter comes out, gets shielded. Charge comes out. Ranger Hoover is taken out by Vax. Eklo gets the raining from above onto Ryutix. That's 2 down in favor of Florida. So they're at 6v4. And they're going to move back to the point on the side of Shanghai. Super King Nick is down. Wraith uses Die, trying to even it up. Gets Anna grenaded and taken down by Vax. Bray fighting Chicken Nugger. And they are basically being destroyed right now on the point. They do get just over 70%. So it's going to take them 2 team fights. But a very good first showing on the second map of Lijiang for Shanghai.
As a matter of fact, the Winston Reinhardt strategy, I would argue, is more of a command and contain strategy. You do have projectiles, you do have Reinhardt, but the dome really makes a big difference, can block a lot of important ultimates.
Chicken Nugger being an angry monkey does make Picklebingus have to go take to the air with Valkyrie. However, Vax is going to be the one that takes out Ranger Hoover first in this team fight. So right now it's 6v5 in favor of Florida. The fight has moved on to the point. Fire in their hole comes out trying to find someone. Lee does use the Lucio ult to keep him alive. Ryutix finds Vax while he was trying to guide that tire to Mirari's face. still in favor of Florida. They are 1-up, and a fight is on the point. Super King evens it up. Vax is actually res. Woon Lee boots Gregory in the face. And Eklo, although who is in the air, gets taken out by the hammer of Ranger. And it's going to be right now Shanghai with 2 on the point, getting it back in their favor, 73% and counting.
I really would like to know, what is the difference between a control point like...
Rambino seems to have disconnected, left the call, but Spiffs, let us know what's happening. Currently 84% for the side
I'm
of
always
Staggered.
curious what's happening. But we are right now at 88% going to Shanghai. They need to, if they hold this one team fight, it'll be in overtime for however long Florida is able to make it happen. They're moving straight through on the top. Bubbles down on both sides. Grab on the side of Florida. Huge and a grenade allows the kill from Hydro. Triple kill to him and double kill to Bray. The combination of the grab, not necessarily comboed with the DPS ult, but just the huge, well-timed and placed Anna grenade, making everyone in that grab unhealable, allowed Florida to take that win. It is in their position now, 55% and counting.
So now what we have is Riotex with that blade ready to be used here, and this is going to be a massive one, especially when they only need one more takeover. Spiff?
We have here, they're moving forward. They had kind of split, doing a pincering attack or an anvil attack as part of the team was on the side. Shatter comes out, does just start cleaning him up. Shatter into a Death Blossom with a blade, using all the ults to essentially guarantee this fight because they were 99% and they're going into overtime. No one's going to get to touch. It's okay if you use all your Qs when you win that map, and Li Zhang goes to Shanghai, evening up 1-1.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we saw 3 team kills there?
That was quite the number of team kills. They essentially, that means they were standing on point and they all died within the time window of the team kill. Ryu takes play of the game, Rambino.
Alrighty, and here's the Dragon Blade here, ladies and gentlemen. He gets stunned, but onto the double kill. Can he get the triple? Onto the triple, and the 4 and the 5 man with a team kill. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ryudix, Shanghai Staggered.
Able to get the dash even afterwards. That stun could have possibly shut him down from his entire ult, but he still had it, got back in the fray, got the kills. Guys, we're going to take a short little break and we're going to talk over what just happened, and we'll be right back.
And we are back, and as expected, a little bit, let's be honest here, Shanghai Staggered take Lijiang Tower, so this score is currently 1-1, and they're facing Florida Harmony. I have to ask, this question is going to be for you, Spiff. We had Harmony on a pharmacy with Eklo, and we had no real counter for that Pharah from the side of Shanghai Staggered. And Shanghai Staggered still managed to win this game, this map, 2-0. What were they doing right?
I mean, I've seen videos, I've played against Fair Mercies. Unless you have a Widow that can pop that headshot off onto a flying Pharah, or double hit scan with maybe even a Zenyatta, the best thing you can do when there's a Pharah Mercy in the air is ignore them. Because if you ignore them, the fight on the ground, although you're getting poked in the back and up high, is a 6v4 because there's Pharah and Mercy.
Right.
And I think I saw it several times. Shanghai said, "Oh, Pharah Mercy's above and behind. You know what? Push forward, kill the other 4 of them because they're down and we have the numbers advantage." And that they won a lot of team fights that way.
This question's for you, Rambino. We did see Super King Nick on the Reaper alongside Ryutex on the Genji Santen we've seen throughout the entire season. Clearly, they are still so good at control map. You think they are the key to their they being so good at control maps?
So it does help, but I do want to point out also that the team comps do matter to some extent, but you also need to slap in a strategy. And it looks like consistently every time we see Shanghai Staggered on the maps that are a control point, they always do so well because they are able to keep their strategy consistent and they force their opponents to play around them. And that is exactly what you want to do, especially towards the end as you wind up that percentage. Anything past 88%, as we've spoken in the past, you want to play off the point. If you don't get any overtime, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts on, again, like we expected Shanghai Stagger to be this aggressive, this demanding and controlling, right, when it comes to a control map. But is this what we expected? This question's for you, Spiff. Is this what we expected from a Florida Harmony side that we thought from seeing game one that they were coming into this match with a little bit more preparation than maybe we've seen throughout the season?
I mean, they were very dominant on Anubis, and when it came to on the control point, they weren't able to push forward with what I would say confidence. Now they were moving as a team. They weren't finding the picks as easy as Shanghai was, and Shanghai was, from my point of view, making the fights happen where they wanted them, and Florida was acquiescing. They were being the gauntlet was thrown in this spot from Shanghai, and Florida says, "Of course, my good sirs, I shall of course fight you where you want me to," instead of always trying to fight on the point.
Okay, Rambino, I want to know your thoughts on we talked about the Pharah for the side of Harmony on the second map. Let's talk about the Junkrat pick. They had a tire. Didn't really get that much value. Maybe I know they picked the Moira from the side of Shanghai Stagger, but do you think maybe a different DPS, like a hit scan, would have done something a lot more work, like maybe like an Ashe? What are your thoughts on that Junkrat pick for the side of Harmony?
So the biggest value we can get out of a Junkrat is definitely shield busting. You know, we've got it's essentially a free kill or two if you can get that tire close enough to somebody. However, it doesn't seem to have worked too well. And I did see a nano boost coming off on a Junkrat, which is extremely rare because obviously you up your damage and you decrease your damage taken when you get nano boosted. You don't really need to give that to a Junkrat, mainly because obviously a Mercy power boost is a more than ample. You're getting a lot of splash damage, obviously, but it just isn't enough for a relatively low DPS. I prefer to call Junkrat a BPS because he's a burst damage hero. I wouldn't really call him a DPS.
And with that interesting message from Rambino, we're going to actually focus on the next map. The next map is going to be one of my favorites, Dorado. Guys, I want to know your thoughts on Dorado, and we're going to start with you, Spiff. We're going to focus again on Shanghai Staggered. What are we expecting to see from them on this particular map?
High ground superiority. Points from the beginning to point A, even to point B. Whoever controls the high ground gets the better positioning, gets the better poke damage, decides when they're going to fall down and start fighting on the point. Whoever can get up on top and keep the top is going to be the ones that I think are going to be more dominant here on Dorado.
Rambino, your thoughts on Dorado and what you are expecting to see from a little bit shook side of Florida Harmony?
Well, like the movie, Julik, the road to Dorado is a long one. And that being said, I personally like to see a flank early on to ignore the payload, actually. You want to force them off the high ground here. And here's why. There are so many different ways to flank your opponents when you're on that high ground. A Sombra, I love to see Sombra here because those EMPs combined with a Diva explosion is exactly why. Keeping your ears open and your eyes peeled is why you become a better player. Now, no map awareness on this Dorado map, it will always lead to you losing a team fight.
Excellent. And with that in mind, we are actually going to take a quick short break here before the next map of Dorado. So guys, stay tuned. So far, this map, these two teams have brought up exactly what we expected, a very balanced fight. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We can fly, touch the sky, feel alive. We can fly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are about to get going with map number 3. It's going to be Dorado. Guys, welcome back. It was a little bit longer break than expected, but that was our halftime break. So everyone, got a little water, stretched up a little bit, and we are ready. Guys, how are we feeling coming up on this map number 3?
Fantastic.
All right, guys, so we are gonna go ahead and take the map live here. Currently the score is still tied 1-1. Casters, take it away.
Hello again, I am Swiftastic, being doing your play-by-play. They might have to restart, we're not 100% sure. Oh, no, we don't. Good. Making sure somebody didn't have full view like we have. Casters, but with me, color casting again is Rambino. Sir, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, Spiff. It is always a pleasure once again to be casting alongside you. Quick question for you. If Reaper were an ice cream flavor, what ice cream flavor would it be?
I'd say Rocky Road with a little bit of spice. You know how some of the chocolate ice cream has that little bit of spice? I think he'd be that. Because when I think of him, I think of a little rough, a little bit of sweetness in there, maybe like buried beneath the chocolate ice cream, and of course spice because of the Death Blossom. Here on Dorado, however, top left you do have Shanghai Staggered, top right you do have Florida Harmony. Florida's going to be attacking first, and right now they are basically holding the high ground as best they can. On the defense, you're going to be knocked off by Boss Face in the Diva. Eklo is going to find a kill onto Mama RG, no res, and they are down one already in favor of Florida by 6v5. They're going to go ahead and rotate back to the fountain, and hopefully they're going to basically have maybe somebody doing leapfrogging to allow Mercy to get back. Or what I actually would have liked to see from Florida is actually push forward very strongly when they were down that one main healer on the side of Shanghai. What about you, Remy, now?
Well, I'm seeing that commit to the pharmacy. It definitely could be something big here, a lot more value out of it, hopefully, than last map.
And that's 2 down already on the side of Shanghai. So Florida up again right now. Now, Shanghai did get Runely back up, but then Cactus fell out of the mech and a mini Diva version as well. Eklo popping off from in the air. No real pressure being done right now. It's going to be Cactus and RG just shooting as best he can. They are stalling the point here, however, pretty well. Chicken Nugget's going to be punched in the face by Boss Face. Mama RG is going to be dove upon. Is basically just the healers here for Shanghai. He is going to be taken out by the hammer. And Super King Nick is right here around the fountain. Is going to try and retreat or find some value, but is being dove upon by both tanks, wraithing out. Just surviving, but Eklo's going to get another pick from up on high on Ryutix. Super King Nick falls down to Boss Face, and Shanghai Stagger was getting staggered all through the point, and from it all started with that great pick onto RG, and look at the ult economy we have Rambino.
Well, you can see Florida has 6 ultimates. That's right, count them, ladies and gentlemen. It will be dangerous, if not impossible, to win the next team fight for Shanghai.
I want to give a props to Chicken Nugget, who does get the kill on Eklo, then immediately, since he had about 10 health left, does use the Angry Monkey and is trying to bash Eklo into the wall. Is not going to find able to go, but able to sustain that a little bit more. They are trying to set up on the high ground, but Vax does have her sights up, knows exactly where they are. Gives Eklo plenty of room to know where to go, where to poke, where to do damage, because right now he's doing all the pressuring, being backed up by Vax, who is just basically sitting behind the point at long range with a lot of poke. Valkyrie comes out from RG. Ryutix dashing forward, trying to deal with Vax. Vax is taken out by the punch. Right now is in favor of Shanghai 6v5, and they are pushing on the point. They're basically fighting on 2 fronts. Ryutix in the back line. The rest of the Shanghai Stagger is here. Shatter comes out. Cactus is on the ground. Does get anti-grenaded. Lucio does keep the mech in place for Cactus with that Lucio ult. Eklo is destroyed by Mama RG, but then res right back up by Pickle Bingus. But right now, Shanghai is in the better position here. They are pushed forward. Shatter comes down, gets Chicken Nugget moving on the ground, and they're going to be cleaned up. Die from Super King. Backed up by Ryutix's blade. Does get 3 kills. And the 4th kill from on the side of DPS for Shanghai. That's both of their DP ults used, though, but Shanghai stops the progression of Florida.
It just goes to show you, Spiff, when you throw a sword at your problems, it makes them all better.
I mean, it seemed to work. Maybe that's a miscommunication, but that's happened a few times, even on the last one. But that was like the very, very last fight of Legion. But both DPS ultimates are down, and now that you only have a Diva Bomb and nothing else right away on defense, you're going to have to be dealing with if you think about it, maybe those 2 ults counteracted the 6 that were used on Florida's side. Now they are moving forward. Nerf this comes down, falls down. That does use the Wraith on the Reaper, who has gone off from the Widow onto a Reaper now. They did get a few more meters. That may not seem like a lot, but if it doesn't go any farther than this, they basically got those few more meters for free. Now Vax does take the hurts to Chicken Nugget. Vax dives on forward, dive back. Bray does charge in, not finding anyone. Cactus is hit out of the mech. Eklo finding the mini version of Cactus. Right now in favor of Florida, 6v5.
This is not your time.
Thinking about Eklo as well.
These are really big team fights in the sense that it really is forcing Florida to play a little bit more conservatively than they're used to, because obviously we saw them had 6 ults earlier and that didn't get them a lot of progress on the payload.
Really did, and essentially they moved forward. They used all 6. Now they are basically building up again to having all 6. But they need to, Shanghai needs to find a better use of pressure onto Eklo, because he's just hopping off up in the air, not even always being pocketed by Pickle Bingus, but finding those picks, finding those kills. They need to find somebody to do some pressure, and Cactus can't do it alone.
Now we do see the Primal Rage coming out. I don't think he's going to get a lot of value out of that once again. He did get purpled. We're seeing a Barrage come out as well. Spiff, what do we got here?
I mean, the die comes out. All the ults are actually being used again. 4 ults, 5 ults are being used from the side of Florida. But when the Shanghai came forward and started using the Angry Monkey, it was to stall for time. They already felt that they were losing, but they are going to stall right here on this point. If they can actually get more of the Florida people to die, Shanghai does do the die, gets booped into Gregory. Wasn't going to get the pick, but finds it in the back. Actually gets Boss Face out of the mech as well. Gregory is rezzed right back up by Pickle Mingus. This is very much on the side of Florida right now, 6v5. Moving forward, Cactus is trying to do the pressure onto Eklo, finding some success, pushing him back, not giving the angles that he wants. Actually getting really, really low, calling the attention of Pickle Bingus one more time. Cactus is hit out of mech, and they are taking this high ground. A very large jump from Chicken Nugget, putting a lot more pressure. Tickle damage does finish off Eklo finally. There is no res on the side of Florida. Florida is still trying to push forward. They have this precious 2.76 meters left. Shatter comes onto the ground, does knock 3 people down, and Bray does get the sweep up, that's then taken out by Ryuchix, who's changed off onto the axe. Double kill right away, and a nerf this from Cactus to basically solidify Shanghai being able to hold point B.
Now, pardon my French, Spiff, but I believe Florida is suffering from something called premature ultification.
Now that is a serious thing. You usually see it a lot in silver and gold and dipping away into plat, but that's when you just press all the Q buttons when you all have Q. Now they are essentially getting that reset by them being staggered a little bit, because Ryuchix finds a pick on the Pickle Bingus. Now Eklo is still in the air, and I do think Fair Mercy is still going to do well here with a swap onto Ash, because already one team fight from Ryuchix and a pick onto Eklo gives him Bob, and it's already in overtime. Die comes out, and it's going to just basically push it back, but now Shanghai is using all the Qs because it's the last team fight, got in the overtime. I wasn't expecting them to hold it, but they were able to hold to point 2.
It's really surprising, and I'm actually curious what's going on in the Florida Harmony comms right now, because all of those ults got blown at the same time. They could have easily gotten that second checkpoint if they were a little bit more patient with the way they're using their ultimates. However, we've had a debate earlier. Pharmacy, is it valuable? Is it not? But it looks like, at least from my perspective, it's working to only some extent. It isn't getting the full value out of it because they aren't taking advantage of flanking. They are only trying to hit those rockets where they can, when they can. They are not just being sporadic.
I mean, Eklo is definitely finding at least some value. A lot of those team fights, especially from point 0 to point 1, was a lot to do with the picks coming out from Eklo, but it was odd. As soon as they put pressure onto Eklo with hit scans, and both tanks, Chicken Nugget and Cactus, just trying to focus and get Eklo to back off, is when they were really able to dig their feet into the ground to maybe to stop Florida from pushing, because Florida was essentially going uncontested from the beginning into the second half of the second point here on Dorado.
Well said, Spiff. Well said. Now, I will say this. When it comes to ice cream for Reaper, I personally think he's cookies and cream.
You have to explain that one to me.
Well, he's sweet, he's salty with his personality, and I think that cookies and cream reflects that perfectly.
You know, we're all entitled to opinions. I do like cookies and cream, or even a moose tracks, but here on defense for Florida, it does look like they're going to be setting up on the high ground, doing a lot of poke damage from the side. Vax has gone on to the Widow. I'm curious how Shanghai is going to deal with that. Shanghai is actually Rune Lee right now is basically ferrying Super King Nick underneath the first defensive point. Is going to be scouted out from the side of Florida, and they're going to decide to run right away. They're going to try and boot him up. Vax is going to actually pick onto Rune Lee. and they're not pushing the point. They can get free meters right now as they're pushing the fight to there. Runli is rezzed by RG. Vax does find Cactus right after he pops out of his mech, but it is essentially this first little alleyway is more or less used for poke phasing, unless they're able to hold them at the door. Because right now, where they are in the arch in front of the fountain is where defense can really put up a wall and stop the attackers from moving forward. What do you think is going to be used here on the side of Shanghai to actually push forward? Because they are very well bunkered here in position.
Well, you've got the best of both worlds here. You've got Shanghai able to push as well as fight, but now that Florida's taken it back, they're going to need to get out of that really sticky situation. I'd probably say throw in a Primal Rage to push everyone off the point, then the self-destruct to finish it off, hopefully.
I'm curious if they're maybe waiting for ults now. With 58% to Bob, Mutix has gone off of the Ashe and instead going to be going on to the Genji. Very good Genji, already 20% of his ult, but maybe they were expecting to see Eklo up in the air again. That's why they started off on the Ashe, but Eklo is instead on the Junkrat, already having that tire ready to go, and essentially the rest of Florida is nearing their ults. They're going to have a barrier. Here comes the tire, looking for a kill. Is rolling around, trying to find somebody. Super King actually finishes off Eklo while that's happening, but Bray does pin him into the face. Eklo finding the very good value with that tire into Mama RG, and right now Florida is definitely still holding this very strongly, even though Chicken Nugget just took out Vax.
I'm gonna have to say it's like that Journey song, Spiff. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
Turn, 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 turn. Now, hopefully, that doesn't even hopefully, it looks like Shanghai are going to push forward, knowing that Vax has to have to run the long walk. Mutix going to be opening this up. It's 6v4 now. Bray charging all the way to the back. 6v3. It is Florida's fight losing right now. Vax is still here and getting very good pressure from Chicken Nugget. In fact, going to finish him off before he gets into the end of the team fight. And Shanghai is going to be able to get this first point in Dorado with some more time in their bank to get 2.2.
Now, a bit unusual with the Mercy on the Genji here. I don't really have a name for that, but if I did, I'd call that Slap and Chap.
I'll let you go with that, Rambino. That's great. Now, what we have happening right now is, okay, it wasn't moving for a second ago. I was wondering who's going to babysit the point, because essentially what Shanghai is doing is pushing forward very strongly. Cactus is going to find Gregory with that Diva Bomb. Die, and the Blade again at both times. Both DPS is using both of their DPS ults at the time when the team fight was kind of going in their favor, but maybe they're using it for staggers, because I would have liked them to use one of those later. So maybe their miscommunication between Super King and Ryutix are well-timed and big brain plays that I don't understand. How about you, Rambino?
Well, when in doubt, just assume it was planned all along, Spiff. Now, that was a fantastic team fight for Shanghai that really put them at an advantage here, but they burned everything. So this next team fight could be really bad, but they've got time, so no worries.
They basically did what Florida did on this almost same position. And they are getting free meters right now because Cactus is just kind of here. Now Ryutix is in the very, very far back line, keeping Anna and Widow busy. And in fact, but I loved the play that came out from Eklo, sneaking forward onto the point, getting the very quick kill on Runli, who was essentially escorting it forward. Now they are regrouping. Shanghai is all here again, but it's Eklo on the high ground. Everyone else is on the low ground. So if they can take control of this high ground and get some poke damage and get it going, they're going to be in a great position. They're going to go forward, get through this arch basically for free. Fire in the hole. Tire comes forward. It's going to be countered for the moment by the Lucio ult. Ranger is going to take Chicken Nugget is going to take a lot of damage from that. Runli is stunned. Margie is so low, and it's going to be the death from Eklo kills Chicken Nugget. Marber RG does get really back up, but is sniped because of that slow movement off by Vax and Bray with a double kill. They are going to hold off just this little bit left. There is only about 12, 13 meters left that Shanghai has to do, and they have under 2 minutes to do it.
The good news is, once again, they are allowed to make mistakes up until that last minute. They can still get some ult charge. If I were the prudent Shanghai, I'd definitely stop fighting from going all the way to the left. Just flank. It's a quicker route, and they could possibly get some picks from behind the safety of this corner alley.
I'm actually curious about the pick from Echo. I haven't seen him on the Genji yet. Maybe trying to contest the other Genji, because right now Ryutix is doing good pressure, diving with his monkey, trying to find backs in the backline. They're doing a lot. The Ana grenade is going to be used. They are going to keep him alive. Bray charges to get back to his team. Does not happen. Chicken Nugger diving in, and here's Dragon Blade in the back, finding Echo right away. Gregory falls to Chicken Nugger, but not before after Boss Face takes him in the face. And it's Diva Bomb does find Boss Face. Super King going to get the kills as well. And right now it is Shanghai going to be taking map number 2 Dorado. They're going to be leading this series 2-1.
That is exactly what I like to see from Shanghai. Great ult usage. And that is correct.
Rambino, do it.
Play of the game brought to you by Ryutix once again here, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to be happening? He's got the Dragon Blade up and ready in just a few moments here. He's already looking to get some kills. Nothing yet to get the Swift Strike for the single onto the double. Can he get the triple kill? He's swiping and nothing, but then finally getting down Vax for the triple kill. He is not taking no for an answer, Spiff.
That Lucio ult definitely kept Widow alive for quite a while. But guys, we're going to take a short little break before we move into match number 4. Can Florida tie it back up, or is Shanghai going to take it? We'll find out just in a little bit after this.
Close your eyes, seek paradise. Won't change your mind, can't shape the lights. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. I want it all, just for the night. I live it out like I'll never die. I lose my head in the starry skies. Can't tame me down, I feel so alive. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turn me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light. Turn up the light. This is what I waited for. 'Cause the clock keeps ticking, hard for me to keep up. I can't take it no more. 'Cause the time keeps turning, feels just like it speeds up. It's what I waited for. Close your eyes, seek paradise. Won't change your mind, can't shake the light. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. Just wanna feel.
Welcome back. We are ready to take Blizzard World. It's going to be our game number 4 between Shanghai Staggered versus Florida Harmony. Guys, briefly, let's talk about the map Dorado. We did see Shanghai Staggered take that win, so the score is in their favor, 2-1. But Spiff, question for you: what worked for the Staggered?
They did go forward, and I liked that they were anticipating Eklo being in the air on Ferret, because that's what contested him the first time when Florida was moving forward. But when it came to it, they've got the swap off. They very good back pressure from Mutix on the back line to Florida, and they pushed for. It took them a lot longer to get to the first point, but when we got in basically to the streets phase, they were very good about contesting the high ground. They pushed anyone off, and it seemed that Florida didn't have the means to continuing to pressure the high ground. I keep saying high ground. You don't necessarily need the high ground, but it looked like that's what kind of pushed them forward to the win for Shanghai Staggered.
Quick question for you, Rambino. We did see Shanghai Staggered on the very first choke at the beginning. What was Florida Harmony doing right? If I remember correctly, they had a Junkrat and they had a Widow, and then we saw a swap on the Shanghai Staggered with Ryutik swapping over from an Ashe to his famous Genji. So what was working for them until that swap?
So we don't have a lot of hours clocked on Ashe for Ryudix, I do believe. However, Florida Harmony, they had the right idea, holding the chokes. They don't want to get too crazy, especially when you've got a payload right in your hands. But the biggest problem I had from them is that they weren't keeping aware of what the DPS were doing for Shanghai Staggered. Now, you had Ryudix and their other DPSs pop their ultimates at the same time. They got excited. And that did pay off for them in the end. However, you typically don't want to do that because a single DPS ult usually, not always, but usually will be enough to sway a team fight in your favor.
Excellent. And with that in mind, you want to say something else, Spiff?
I'm trying to maybe rationalize or find out why that is. Usually, if that happens when you have two of the same role use an ult, like if both supports use their ults, which are meant to save lives, well, the other team waits for those to be done and then uses their other ult to kill them because there's not another support ult. So on the DPS side, the only thing I can think of is because they don't really have anything else to combo with either one of those DPS ults, they instead combo with themselves. And maybe that's what was working. But it happened a lot. Both teams kind of ult economy usage, maybe not as optimal as I would have liked to have seen. But it was slightly more in favor of Shanghai when it came to ults.
So once again, we're gonna look into game number 4. Very decisive map, obviously, for the side of Florida Harmony. If they want to continue, they need to win this game. Otherwise, that's gonna be a GG, and Staggered are gonna move on. So with that in mind, Spiff, I want to know, who are we looking to essentially again pop off from the side of Harmony?
On the side of Harmony, Blizzard World is a very good friend to Widow, and Vax has been doing very good on Widow.
Vax.
I expect to see there's long sight lines, there's little tiny covers, there's high ground on the second point. I expect Vax to basically stay Widow the entire time, even on the third point, although not as strong. It is definitely what's going to happen. I think if Vax can continue to find the head of Mama RG, I think it's going to give Florida the edge.
How about do you have anything to say to that, Rambino? He did say Vax on the Widow, but we just saw Ryutix apply so much pressure to the Florida Harmony Widow on this Dorado map, game number 3. Do you think it's something that Harmony should take into consideration jumping into game number 4 if Ryutix actually places fourth map?
Well, I will say this, Julik. Hopefully Shanghai Staggered isn't sick, because call Vax a doctor. It is about to get vaccinated.
Okay, with that in mind, I want to...
was okay. You know what? 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. So with that in mind, let's
I'm
take
sorry.
a quick look at the upcoming map. It's going to be Blizzard World. I want to know your thoughts on this. Spiff, do you like this map in general?
I like this map in general, yes. I love the ambience. I loved the winter version of this when it went dark and it was all Christmassy. You could actually lose the Christmassy. I would just like to see the night map, because when I'm thinking about it, the only other one I can think of is Lijiang, where it's nighttime. I like the different versions of that because different plays. You can have different skins on your hero, maybe to kind of sneak around a little bit. But I like Blizzard World because of basically the route of the payload and how different each one is. From the attacking side, the first version is the first attack pattern is kind of straight away, but you have plenty of cover all the way to the point, including the wall that's on the point. It's got the little roof, it's like a stable, it's wonderful. On the defensive side, you have plenty of options as well. On the first side, you can hold on the high ground, you can hold on the right side of the point, so you can see no matter which way the attackers come. It's just totally variant all the way through to the end when you get inside basically the what is that? A throne room of death? But yes, when it comes to Blizzard World, I love hybrid maps in general because it changes up how you have to play on from beginning to the end. So
Rambino?
yes, I like it.
Excellent. I like that answer. But Rambino, I want to go to you really quickly. And what is your favorite composition going into attack on Blizzard World?
Well, it is called Blizzard World for a reason, Julik, and I like to see a Mei as an off tank here, mainly because that Blizzard is fantastic at forcing team fights, forcing an area of zoning that a Mei can take advantage of. Now, you combine that with a Lucio that we have maybe from Rune Lee, hopefully, and we're going to see a wham bam thank you, man.
That's gonna be that's an interesting composition, but I'm gonna actually toss that over to you, Spiff, since you seem to really like this map. But I'm gonna twist it a little bit on defense. Your desired composition.
I would like to see this on the first point. You can kind of go a little brawly, maybe Reaper, maybe Junkrat, maybe with the Mei especially. Mei can wall off one side, and essentially on that first point, you're gonna see when we get into the map. Because of how it is contained, even the Widow will have to come closer to deal with it. So I'd like to see defense go a little brawly on the first one. Second point, you have to have the high ground. You have to have people that can go up and down. I want to see the Winston. I want to see the Divas. I want to even see high ground control, because the high ground on that second point is so vital to be able to control just poke damage when the payload moves. Again, I just love the different types of strategies required throughout the entire map of Blizzard World.
Excellent. And with that in mind, guys, the game is about to begin. Game number 4, Florida Harmony versus Shanghai Staggered. Casters, take it away.
Again, hello, I am Spifftastic Me. You're going to be hearing me yelling back and forth of what's actually happening during the fight. I am play-by-play. With me again is Rambino, the childish variety. Sir, how you doing?
I am doing well, as always. Thank you, Spiff. Always an honor to be casting alongside you. Now, we do have 38 seconds. I don't know about you, but I kind of like to see the more creative team comps on this map. I want to see a Torbjorn. I want to see a Symmetra. I want to see it messy. I want to see it creative. And most of all, I want to see some good old-fashioned flanking that ends up in team kills.
I mean, we might see some flanking, most definitely, because here we got Ryutix has been stepped out of Shanghai Staggered for this map as Aqua Kid 2000 has come in. He has a very good hit scan, and right now he's on Sombra, so you're going to hopefully, when you see Sombra in maybe just single queue competitive or even a quick play, you're not going to see a lot of communication, but where Aqua Kid is right now is going to give full disclosure on what Florida is running. He's actually going to run right behind him, because on the attacking side of Florida, again, they're in your top right in your red, top left in your blue is Shanghai. They're going to go ahead and say, well, we don't see anybody on the high ground for defense. We're going to move down below to the left and basically use less sight lines, but they do have to fight onto the point, and there is a pretty decent, and they're holding the high ground right now for Shanghai Staggered. Eklo, very aggressive, basically shadow step right on the point. They're moving on here, actually getting that first tick. Charge is going to get Cactus in the face. Oh, the breather comes out, getting him back up. Gregory is actually really, really low, waiting for the grenade to come back so he can stay alive. If you can find him in the back, that's going to be a good point, but they're still holding this high ground. Eklo has gotten onto the high ground, does get the kill onto Chicken Nugget from that Reaper. Now, Mama RD dives right on top, getting the main tank back up, but Eklo has basically taken down both tanks. And it's going to be Pickle Bingus getting the better of Rune Lee on the Lucio battle. And Florida is going to take this because they only have 2 people left to contest. Chicken Nugget, as soon as that Fortify goes down on Orisa, it is just Mama RG. And Mama RG is going to decide, should I just die here? Yes, go ahead and die. Florida does take it, and the payload is going to start moving forward here on Blizzard World.
Unfortunately, I will have to question the Roadhog pick. We do see a swap off of it, but I don't know if Roadhog works that well at Treehouse, especially when your goal is to isolate targets. You pull them into you, and you just really disrupting your defense.
The hook on into the treehouse does seem very counterproductive. I'd like to see someone else, but the idea of the Halt hook combo is so strong. We do have the switches coming out. They're gone off from Orisa Hog onto more dive tanks of the Monkey and the Diva, and they're basically holding the tank right now, and they are continuing moving the payload though around the first corner. But I like how they're trying to hold the high ground. Mirst is doing a lot of poke damage from the back, firing their hold. Good bomb, does not find anyone, however. But there's still 4 ults on the side of Florida, only 1. Soon to be a Bob as well on the side of Shanghai. So 2 to 4, now 2 to 5. There's Bob, right on the point. Again, Bob counts as a character. If Bob is near the payload, he will either contest it or hold it, or fight back and be there. Shatter comes out, does find 2 to 3 feelers on the ground. Fire Strike is going to finish off Runely. Bax is actually going to be taken down by the Battle Mercy RG, who has flown into the air and taken people out. But it's unfortunately Florida right now, of course, is getting that double kill from Bray, and Florida is going to continue basically steamrolling, similar to what happened on non-control maps. Florida is just very good at pushing forward to an objective that's not a control point.
I think the most exciting thing to point out here is that they're not all wasting their ultimates at the same time.
A little bit of we're gonna deal with something that happened during the game, because that's something that, again, rules are rules. But they're moving forward. They are still contesting. High Noon comes out from Bax, does find Chicken Nugget. Die from Eklo as well. Is going to clear out RG and mini version of Cactus. And they are going to get that second point. They have just under 5 minutes left to continue moving up to basically the end of the map, or point 3 on Blizzard World. And they're being very aggressive. I like what they're doing. Gregory is here on the payload, pushing forward. Bax is going to back up to basically protect the Ana, hopefully stick with them, because if there's Aqua Kid in the back, the anything you can do as an Ana is hope you hit the sleep dart or you're dead. So I like seeing that that Bax is back there on the point protecting his Ana, and Shanghai is basically being steamrolled. The Eklo finds the pick right away on the Chicken Nugget. What needs to what they need to change their comp, Rambino? What is going on?
Well, even though a McCree is a pretty solid DPS pick, I don't know if Aqua's Genji is in the same caliber as Ryudix. That isn't to say he's not a bad player, but he's already got the double from his Genji Blade, and that's about it. They are still losing momentum as that cart keeps going up.
And Bray was able to get a quad slam onto the ground. And now the back line of Florida was taken out for that, and there was very good staggering coming out onto the payload from the Shanghai Stagger, but it was not enough. The double kill from Aqua Kid, although a lot of pressure was there, stopped the 1 DPS and 1 healer in the back. Not going to be enough. Runely getting stunned, is trying to contest onto the point, barely staying alive. Chicken Nugget taking the high ground, Bray pushing forward. Basically, Runely is stalling this point. Very well pocketed. Nerf this comes out. Is it placed well? Does not find anyone. Causes them to go back. Die from Eklo. Double kill. Mirst and Aqua do indeed die. Bray finding as well. That's half the team of Shanghai is down. Valkyrie comes out. Mama RG trying to hide from the High Noon. Gets taken out by Bray, swinging the hammer instead. They might have one more contest here, but it's going to be a very staggered contest. Trying to get on the payload. Aqua Kid has gone onto the Junkrat. Grab, trying to stall even more. Mirst on the Hanzo has come forward to get it into overtime. They're basically stalling for time with 3 minutes left. They have gone from beginning all the way to the end with almost not stopping.
So I would like to say right now we could possibly see a map 5. I'm hoping to, because Shanghai seems to cool off their momentum as soon as they touch another map, and it's heartbreaking because the level of play that we see is very rare, especially at these middle tiers, platinum going into diamond. Now, that isn't to say either team is playing poorly, but I want to see a curveball thrown into the mix. Get crazy, show me a Bastion with a Symmetra, and I will give you some excellent color commentary on how I think the idea is fantastic.
I would love to see some other random things, but I am not going to see them. But I am very happy to point out right now that viewers, you are not seeing goats free goats. I may have just jinxed it, but I have yet to see goats free goats on these teams. I wanted to say it, we mentioned it, and we're not going to mention it again. We're going to swap attackers and defenders, and we're going to see what's happening. On defense for Florida, they are doing a similar thing with the Orisa from Bray, but the difference here is what you pointed out earlier, Rambino, is the Hog was not enough. You needed someone that could basically touch the point to contest, so that's going to be, I think, boss space on D.Va. Contest, get low, dive back up, get healed up, do it again. What else do we have coming out from Florida on defense?
Well, from Florida, we've got a fantastic Ana and a Zenyatta, which definitely, if I have to say anything about that, is you've got to be kidding me that we have yet to see that kind of team comp.
I'm glad we're not. Now, they are very susceptible to divers because neither of them have mobility. So I'm expecting to see Vax again stick back, use that stun, maybe get the right click off, get the sleep landed. But I love what Shanghai is doing. They're pushing forward all the way around. They know where they're set up. They are basically going to move forward to contest them off the point. Mama RG actually diving forward with the monkey and the tracer, trying to push them off. And it's not. It does get the boop onto Gregory. Pickle Bing is both healers down from Florida. That is 6v4. 6v3, and they're all with punches. Quickie gets the punch, gets the punch. It's now Fight Club, but Shanghai definitely very dominant. Full team, not a team wipe, but they didn't lose a single player, and they're going to basically keep 2 on the point and push forward on that, even though RG fell. But Shanghai is going to take this first one on the first fight.
And we're getting a pause here, ladies and gentlemen, but that's an excellent way to segue into my next question. Based on just how they performed right now, Spiff, would you say their offense is a lot stronger than their defense when it comes to non-CP maps?
Just based on that very first attack coming out from Shanghai, it's very clean, very coordinated. Most people don't even use that angle where they think, oh, we have to go straight. Oh, we have to go right to the point. No, especially if the defending players are defending where they were just defending for Florida, definitely makes sense to go all the way around, because then there's less time for the defenders to have sightlines on you to push damage. And instead you say, okay, we're coming around the corner now, and then you engage. And it didn't necessarily push them all off the point right away, but it definitely didn't really catch them off guard. They just got the picks, they got the kills. I love the fact that they decided where they are when they are going to have the team fight. And even though it was Florida told them where, the moment of surprise from Shanghai onto Florida was enough. And I don't know, maybe that caused Boss Face to have his computer and router explode, because he did just DC, and that's why we're on a pause.
The only question I have in response to that, Tracer on offense, viable or nay?
If on offense, Tracer can be very good to annoy. I mean, Ryutix was doing it very well on the Dorado map, and it was paying off dividends, getting a lot of pressure onto the back line, especially Florida having, again, non-mobile supports in the form of Ana and Zenyatta. Having that poke there, that annoyance, is causing them not to be able to focus on healing their team as much, which allows the rest of Shanghai to basically push forward. And I did see Chicken Nugget move forward, like dive forward, call out a target, and both of them get on it. So usually you'd see the Monkey and a Diva dive forward on the target. In this case, it's Chicken Nugget and Aqua Kid. And Aqua Kid, it's a double kill coming out from Eklo. Aqua and RG do die and use the tire. 4 members are killed by Eklo alone. Very dominant Junkrat play right there. Definitely digging in his heels, and that's going to be a reset for Shanghai.
Now, on that subject, I would like to segue into Aqua Kid's Tracer. Would you say that Tracer is more of a psychological hero and that you want to see those backs turn?
I mean, most definitely. If you are essentially, when you see a Tracer, you can play one of 2 ways. You never really see her with the team. You see her flanking and putting pressure to cause distraction, and that works very well, and it was working. The other way you do it is actually have her take picks when you are putting the pressure on, with getting 1-clip kills, getting the melee. But since Florida is playing so well together as a unit, it's hard for Tracer to find the lone target and get those kills. Now Mei has used the ult on the payload to basically push back the rest of the team. High Noon does find RG, but RG did find Pinkle Bingus, and even Vax would have gotten a lot more kills if Cactus hadn't eaten more of it. And Cactus is... I love that it actually shows that a Diva has eaten an ult. It's actually wonderful. They're moving for Shatter comes out, and a grenade comes out as well. Diva Bomb as well. A lot of the Qs being pressed, trying to stop this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 ults use that fight by Florida, and they still haven't necessarily solidified it. Those respawns are coming in. The pop on from Chicken Nugget does get the kill. Eklo gets Mearst. Mearst is then res right away. Gonna use the... just stay alive right now, but is Boss Face contesting very well. Positioning of Florida in the middle on the low ground is basically going to make it so that when Shanghai goes on the high ground, double kill from Eklo. RG has decided to fall off the high ground, getting in view of that tire. A lot of good tire value coming out from Eklo. Aqua Kid does find him in the back, but it's just Mearst here trying to stay alive. I should have maybe died on point instead, but he's going to be staggered pretty well. So they're going to reset, and Florida is doing a very good job of defending this.
Well, the only thing I'll say about that, Spiff, is where there's a wheel, there's a way.
Indeed there is, and the wheel is definitely turning, because that was a tire in both of those team fights. First with the double to then quad kill from Eklo, and then on this time another double kill onto the tire. Now, most people want to get gigantic kills with that tire. Just getting a single surgical strike on the tire is where it can shine the most. And then you get the kills, and you get the opportunities to do multiple tire kills. Now Chicken Nugget is doing a lot of pressure onto him, just gets pinned as well. Discord and pin nerf. This is going to cause Pickle Bingus to use his Transcendence, but right now it is 5v6 from Shanghai v Florida. Florida up on the up and up right now. Tracer Bomb comes out, not finding one. Nerf this on the top, falls down, finds Aqua Kid. Right now it is 4-6, and Shanghai 4. They are doing some pressure on his Zenyatta. Eklo does get mirrors. Pickle Bingus falls to Cactus. Arma RG is going to fall as well. Florida right now is essentially finding those picks, and Shanghai is trying to divide and conquer on a team from Florida that is kind of staying together. So it's going against them. I'm expecting some swaps, which we see now coming up from Shanghai. Do you agree with these?
So it is a little late to say that I would justify the switches. However, we can say that if anything, Bob brings another big factor to the team, can extend in overtime, and definitely make a big difference in terms of DPS.
Now Aqua Kid, who had switched on to the Sombra, hacks the Diva, gets him out of mech, gets the kill. Both tanks down on the side of Florida. And Chicken Nugget does fall down as well, so it's 5v4 right now in favor of Shanghai. They are going to be able to contest, but they're not going to have that shield quite yet. Brea is using his charge to get onto the point, does contest, 4.5 meters left. Shatter comes out, Runely, RG on the ground, as well as Mears, and RG and Runely get swept up off the ground. And a boost coming out as well, just for good measure. And they did stop it just 5 meters short of point B.
The worst part about all of this, Spiff, is that they have no ultimates to contest their next team fight. Now, this looks like an easy mop-up for Florida if they can just keep their heads on the ground.
I believe Eklo's tire is going to basically is going to help them win Blizzard World, or give Shanghai more opportunity to push forward, because he is the one that's going to use that tire if he can find the right picks. If there wasn't a way to counter it, it's just not going to happen. Eklo is basically on the point, waiting to do that. Tire is what's going to happen. Charge comes in from Bray, taking him off the point. Chicken Nugget on the high ground, falls down a little bit on top of Gregory, poking. Backed up, a huge EMP. 4-5 members of Florida are down. Aqua Kid does get taken out. Fire in the hole comes. They get point 2, even though the double kill again comes from Eklo. Well placed and timed EMP does allow them to get those last few meters onto point 2. More time in their bank so they can start moving towards them.
And with a minute 15 on the clock here, it does look like Shanghai is still in this. Now, again, they do not have any ultimates for their next team fight other than that Primal Rage, and it is more of a displacement crowd control ability than anything else.
I mean, even when you say there's only one, you'd expect, well, maybe somebody's close. No, they're all in 20% or less for Shanghai. However, on the side of Florida, you have one that's ready, two that's ready. Okay, hacking onto Reinhardt and trying to get some damage down. Bax is being taken down really well. Nerf this comes out, is going to be basically face tanked and survived by the Angry Monkey. Live enough to kill off Pickle Bingus. Boss face diving in the back line, trying to put pressure on. It does finish off Cactus. A double kill with a regular mine to RG and Chicken Nugger. Bax high noons onto Runely's face. There is still less than 30 seconds left. If I want to see Shanghai reset, because right now Florida has held them here. They have one more team fight left.
It doesn't look like they'll have any ultimates ready, and with that sound barrier, it's just going to make getting any picks almost impossible.
Uncle Kid almost found out and destroyed Chicken Nugger, pushing forward, hoping to try and make it into overtime. 5 seconds left. They're going to go ahead and touch. He's getting taken down really low. Needs some backup, needs some heal. Fire in the hole, finds Runely. Cactus is on the hamster, but is going to be annihilated and then taken down by the Junkrat man himself. Bob is here, is contesting, does count, does get the kill on the Eklo, is going to be knocked back just a little bit to stop his contest. It goes away from overtime, and guess what? Florida has moved it to 2-2. It looks like map number 5 is in our what's going to be happening next.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and take the play of the game here. Brought to you by Eklo as Junkrat, which I can guarantee was a probably big Riptire here. There it is. It is good to go. Watch him press the button as he gets a kill on Aqua. There he goes. Can he get the double? Right, punishing the res on Mama RG. Unfortunate. Goes in for the Riptire and picks up another 2 kills.
Great 4K. I wouldn't have liked him to stand not in the doorway to announce that's where it's happened, but he didn't knock it off. Guys, we're going to take a short little break as we prepare to go into map number 5. We'll be right back.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are here ready to take on game number 5. Something that we actually really wanted to watch and cast. And guys, are we excited? Spiff, what are we looking forward to here on Ilios? I believe is going to be the map to essentially break this tie. What are your thoughts?
First off, I was recovering from a pun, but I'm back. And yes, Ilios, another control map. Shanghai already very dominant we had over on Lijiang Tower, so I am hoping, I'm expecting Shanghai to pull it out. They brought in their team that took Lijiang pretty much 2-0. I'm wondering what Florida, maybe they've learned something. Maybe they'll take a trick out. Maybe they'll try and catch them off guard. But it's essentially Shanghai's like match to lose here.
That is true. We are going to see a control. It's a control map, so we are expecting a lot from Shanghai Staggered. Rambino, question for you. You are part of the Florida Harmony roster. You already played a control map. You lost 2 maps in a row. What do you do next? How do you fix that problem coming into game number 5?
Well, I would simply say take out your notepads and get ready to get schooled. Because, again, we do know Shanghai Staggered has the reputation for those powerfully regulated control point maps.
Now, it is unclear if we are going to get to see Ryutex once again in the starting lineup for game number 5 on the side of Shanghai Staggered. But, question for you, Spiff. We're going to focus on Shanghai Staggered. Who are we expecting to pop off on this game number 5 Ilios?
We're going to see Super King with some great flanks. We're going to see Ryutix either flanking with him or kind of doing a pincering attack. And a diving monkey. Either picking which one has the better target that's more vulnerable. They're going to get the picks. Mirari's going to back up the tank of Ranger, who's going to be on point fighting, swing his hammer. He's going to knock down some fools. It's more or less the team working and doing their plan at the same time. Versus, hey guys, I'm going to dive this. Wait, don't dive them yet, because if they dive when there's no other forward pressure, well, the entire other team can just turn around and kill the one dude. So I think coordination, doing what they did last time, it's going to work for them. I'm going to say Shanghai is going to take this map 5.
Rambino, question for you. Harmony, should they run a pharmacy again like they did on Lijiang Tower with the Eklo? Obviously, didn't quite work out for them, but this is a different map, and we do see a lot of friendly maps here on Ilios that are friendly to Pharah. We have it's one of the favorite ones.
Oh yeah.
So, question: should they stick to the pharmacy even though it did not work on Lijiang Tower?
So it is a Pharah-friendly map overall. However, I do not believe they can justify the resources right now because Shanghai, once they get on that point, they dig themselves in. It is like a trench. And Pharah does not do well in confined quarters. As we've all learned, a barrage inside a building definitely will not give you many kills.
Now, on the side of Harmony, we do have Vex, who's actually gonna be in game number 5, and we know that he has a really good Genji play, but I've seen him do hit scan as well. So, are we gonna see an Ashe? Are we gonna see a Widow, or is he gonna stick to McCree?
I think he's going to go on the Widow. There's actually there's decent maps. Lighthouse has good sight lines and use to get good value for the Widow. On Well, unless you're basically on top of the building itself, you're not going to get those sight lines that you want. You're going to be easily diveable. But I expect Vex to be on Widow on the maps that he's allowed to be and switch off to more of a melee-friendly version of a control point, because otherwise, Shanghai is just going to keep doing what they were doing.
Now, we also have Ilios being a very environmental kill-friendly map. With that in mind, are we going to keep an eye on Run Lee with the Lucio plays?
I want some boops.
Whenever
Whenever I get to play on Ilios, I always challenge my team, guys. I want to see who can get the most environmental kills. I challenge you to a booping contest. And we get a lot of booping.
And I am expecting a booping contest. We're going to go ahead and take the map live. Casters, please take it away.
Guys, map number 5 against 2 really good teams. Top left in your blue, Shanghai Staggered. Top right in your red, Florida Harmony. It is 2-2. I'm Swiftastic Me. And Childish Rambino is going to be my left-right hand man with the puns and the color casting, sir. Happy Sunday again.
Happy Sunday, Spiff. We have 20 seconds here. I'm looking at these team comps. I don't see an Orisa, and I'm a little disappointed because Orisa really does shine here with a Lucio. Now, we do see Lucios on both sides. That is typical of Ilios because lots of different ways to get the kills. But without further ado here, good luck. Have fun, teams. Spiff. Give it to me.
What I'm seeing out here from both teams is, again, what Rambino was talking about, but I like that we see the mirrors of Lucio and the mirrors of Reaper, especially with this version right here of Lighthouse. Reaper is very scary. He can stay on the point, and the team has to be within close range in order to do damage. But I think Vax, who is chosen on to go instead of the DPS role, is going to be on the Zarya, is going to do a lot of value unless Super King deletes him off the map. Ranger getting Pickle Bingus, and right now Shanghai is finding the picks and getting the leg up on this first team fight, and because they got the speed boost, they used it right out of the gate versus instead of what you usually hear is to wait for that speed boost from Lucio to push into the team. They used it to get to the point first, which is exactly what happened on Lijiang Tower the first time. They got their position they wanted, where they wanted the fight to happen, and they made it happen in their favor. So right now they're going to start moving at 15%.
Now, for those of you that missed it, that was a team kill. Now, you are transmitting to Florida Harmony that we are strong, we will not move, and we are ready for your next team fight.
Echo has gone on to the Pharah up in the air. Is that Pickle Bigas to damage boost as well? And they're kind of, they can't do as aggressive a hold as they want because that's what's going to happen. Echo is going to get a double kill on a Chicken Nugger and Runely because when you're in range of that, it's you can get the easy picks, and the Fat Shatter is going to let them try and clean up a few, but they're going to, Shanghai answers back with the retix Eugene no karaoke kill onto the Pharah of all people. Dash forward slash is going to be enough to take him out, and Shanghai is actually going to hold this a little longer, just over 50%.
Now, it's a little weird to see the prioritize on the Mercy, mainly because you're trying to hit a flying target with a sword that you cannot follow very well.
But that's what they have to do, because the other DPS is Super King on that Reaper. Shatter comes out, not finding anyone. Diva Bomb, all right on point, and Super King again does die right next to an ult from the Diva. Does get value, and they basically trade ult for ult and death for death. But Shanghai being in control of the point, and over 80% is going to be the victors right now for this team fight, because the Shatter comes out, Justice reigns from above, gets Mirari, Mutix enters back with a very stationary Pharah to get that kill onto Eklo. Eklo is then rezzed right away by Pickle Bingus. Love the name still. Ranger Hoover gets the better of the Reinhardt of Bray, and it's Florida turning this around. It's in favor of Florida right now if they can get that Monkey off. Monkey doing actually a very good job of staggering very well. Gets the 99%, gets the overtime, does flip it. So now they're going to start climbing their way back up. But what do they need to do to get this 0 to 100% win here?
Well, unfortunately for Florida, it's an uphill battle, but they should have at least 2 to 3 ultimates ready by their next team fight. Now, they're about 50% on the self-destruct and the Valkyrie, which I'm hoping will help them in their next push. But if not, then we're going to see that Genji Blade make quick work of that team.
I am actually this is one of the fewer times we've seen in this matchup between these teams of a Zarya, because the graph hasn't come out that up. Eklo getting the first kill on the Ranger Hoover, but it's back and forth, 5v5. Now it's in favor of Florida as Bray gets the charge onto Runely. Rudix does get a double kill from the Blade onto Gregory, but it's not enough, because Florida still answers back very strong, holds their back, and Gregory is going to be rezzed up by Pickle Bingus. So now it's at 44%. Florida's holding their own.
Now, 50% and counting, but they need to hit that 88% win a team fight, and they will win this round. If not, it looks like Shanghai is getting ready, and with those ults coming in, it will be very good to pop that Cola left.
Charge does find Bray. Bray, of course, does have did have the Shatter. Vax falls off, unfortunately. Mutix getting the kill onto Eklo as well. Able to put that pressure. Pickle Bingus comes in, does a res on point, successfully getting Bray back into the fight. Shatter kicks Boss Face to the curved mini diva form, and Shanghai is trying to clean up Pickle Bingus. Bray is here, gets knocked off before the charge could happen from the boop from Runely. Turns back over to 100%, immediately gets it. First map of Ilios going to Shanghai.
I want to say I'm surprised, but truthfully, I'm not. Shanghai has shined even in that last split-second decision-making. They know how to prioritize targets and really make Ryudik shine with those Genji Blade kills. But we cannot forget the supports are truly what enable him to make such big plays.
Absolutely. I am very impressed from Florida on that hold. They turned it over. They won 2 team fights, and it was just ults upon ult upon ult, getting the picks, trading off. I'm impressed by Rutix able to put that pressure and killing Eklo almost every single fight. That every time Eklo died, it was almost always Rutix getting that pressure and getting those kills, whether or not he was stationary or not. But we are going to move on to the well, which in the map pool of Ilios, it is 2 of them are very environmental kill friendly, which is this one, which is the well, and the last one we saw, which is the lighthouse. The other one, Ruins, is not so much. So I'm very happy to see both sides doing Orisa Hog, Halt, Hook combos, very prevalent, and hooking them or halting them into the middle means they die, because neither of those tanks has mobility. Runely is gonna get a kill onto Boss Face, and it's gonna be a trade as Vax does get Super King Nick. 5v5 on either side right now, but the Mercy up in the air, still doing a lot of pressure, doing a lot of damage. I like that Shanghai is using the Orisa shield to keep that damage low, but Eklo is still going to find Runely in the back. Double kill to Mirari. That's both healers down. Neither team has it, but Florida is very dominant here. Their Rutix dives onto the point, trying to contest, is going to be taken down, and it's for the first time on a control map between these teams. Florida is going to be the one to start off with the percentage boost.
Florida has taken the first point, yes, but it does worry me that there is no Lucio for Florida Harmony. Now, it isn't necessarily going to decide whether they win or not, but it makes a big difference when you are trying to keep the point in overtime. That big hole, Lucio can just skate inside it forever.
Right, it's very hard to kill or pull a Lucio into that, because he'll just right however he wants. But Eklo does have the ult. Coalescence come out from both sides. It's Kamehameha beams, the crossing stream. Justice from a range from above, from behind, gets Mirari, and Rutix pops him off to kind of retaliate. And right now, Shanghai is starting to clean up Florida. Boss Face and Vax, the only ones left. Runely behind him, basically bullying this McCree as a Lucio. And right now, Chicken Nugget is trying to damage Bray, and Bray gets off the point, trying to contest just a little bit behind his shield, staying bunkered. Vax wins the fight between Runely, but it does go swapped position, swap ownership to Shanghai, but it's 46% of the side of Florida. Shanghai is going to try and regroup to dig in their heels, because right now they're kind of a little spread and they're not at full strength.
Now, the swap into a Roadhog for both sides, I will point out that it's not a bad choice. The hook over the hole is definitely one of the best strategies you can employ, especially once you break shields. Nobody is safe from that.
I love seeing Runely trying to use the wall jump to put pressure onto a fair. Ryu takes well, good positioning, waiting for that to happen. Boss Face is going to win that hog battle against Shigan Nugger. So right now it's Florida 6 against the Shanghai 5. Shanghai 4 as Super King is taken out by Bray. Both tanks on the side of Florida taking a kill from their opponents. They are, but it is the defending side of Shanghai, so they just want to keep They want to stall this point for as many percentages as they can. CC resistance is actually used. That can only mean one thing to me, as Eklo getting the double kill and Florida swapping possessions. They're probably going to switch off, because that is not the opportune time you'd want to use a bongo.
Now we are seeing an Orisa come right back in, and the Roadhog pick is going to be interesting, being that Orisa doesn't really have enough time to get another power charger going.
Wops did not come out is an ult on the side. 2 ults, both DPS ults up and running on the side of Shanghai. Fortify used actually early, as Ranger Hoover does take the kill out of Eklo. Bob comes out on the other side of Bray's shield, so Bob is just doing a bunch of damage. Super King Nick uses die, does get Bray. Deadeye is going to find Ryutix in his sights, and it actually is going to be sniped. The point is sniped again. The team fight is not done, but Florida unfortunately gives it back to Shanghai, and they're going to go ahead and start, and they have 75% on the side of Florida. We're moving up to 62-63 for Shanghai. They should have been able to stagger some more.
With the double kill from Eklo, that barrage, it doesn't look good for Shanghai right now. They're going to lose that point very quickly here, as soon as Super King falls.
I like the Super King. He was trying to decide. He did Wraith. Most people would go ahead and Wraith to try and run away, but again, this is control. If you're going to die, you better be dying on point, especially in your possession, because you're going to be getting those extra ticks. Now, talking about percentage, 90% on the side of Florida here on Ilios. Shanghai is going to have this one fight to turn it around, but then even if they do get it, Florida will have opportunity to do one more. Eklo doing a lot of pressure under Runely, finds the pick. With all just basically following him around, getting the bongo, getting the damage boost from Mercy, just takes him out. Now the bongo is taken out by the Coalescent. Super King does find Bray just walking right through the shield to do a lot of damage to a very immobile Orisa. Eklo does find the Orisa on the side of Shanghai as Ranger River does fall down. Super King getting boss face. Ryutix is going to pick Eklo out of the air as Pickle Bingus was distracted trying to res boss face back up. Vax getting Super King. It is an overtime. Shanghai needs to win this fight, but Chicken Nugget getting hit out of mech. Dragon Strike comes out, a lot of damage on the boss face. Not enough to finish him off. Splits this field just a little bit. Runely is here. Back again. Ryuchik's getting a nice pick onto Vax, and they're going to get off point for just that small little second. And it's back 1-1 on Ilios. Florida can make it. They didn't want to make it super one-sided. It's coming back. It's coming down to the last map in round number 5 of the third one of Ilios.
But did you expect any less of these two teams, Spiff? We've seen fantastic plays from both sides, and I really do think it is a privilege and an honor to be casting alongside these wonderful teams that really make the action jump out of your seat.
This is just good Overwatch, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here with my mans Julik and Chalice Rambino as basically the two teams that hang around with me on my stream most of the time, Shanghai Staggered and Florida Harmony. I know a lot of these people very well, and they're making this some great Overwatch to cast. Eklo is going to be sticking with the Pharah up on the air, picked back up by Pickle Bingus. Runely is actually going to be taken down by a rocket already. Vax on the McCree was expecting to see Widow, because this is the map to snipe on Widow. A lot of high ground, a lot of far long sight lines. Charge, turnaround charge from Ranger River onto Bray. Does get the pin. Isn't going to help him finish it off, but both Reinhardt's really low. Super King's going to help finish off Bray. Ryutik's getting boss face. Eklo double kill, 3 kills for him from this fight. Ryutik's actually taking down Vax from a reflected damage orb from Gregory, and then killing Gregory. Bray getting the charge of Mirari, double kill himself as he is swinging his hammer. Neither one has taken control of the point, but it's going to be Runely and Ryutix here on the point to get that first team fight out of the way as Shanghai starts getting the percentages.
Now, the difference between Shanghai and Florida is definitely that ult economy right now. You only got the Coalescence from Mirari, but you've got a Barrage and an Earthshatter, which combo together could be devastating.
Well, Justice rained from Echo into Ryutix's face, but then Runely saw Echo's face and said, this is how it feels. So right now they are up. They are up now too. As the res comes out from Pickle Bingus, gets Echo back up into the fight, but Shanghai has won this one. Chicken Nugger chasing Echo back, not letting him return back to his team. That's a great stagger on his point, and Shanghai is sticking up over 30% now on the last map of this match.
Now, Ryutix will have that Dragon Blade. We're seeing a switch into a Genji from Eklo. It could be interesting. I've not yet seen Eklo play Genji, so it'll be a battle for the ages.
In fact, Vax also switching off McCree onto a Junkrat, hoping for him to catch Eklo in a trap. Get a Coalescence. Gregory is actually really low. Super King finds Pickle Bingus. Ryutix finds Gregory as well as Eklo. Double kill, triple kill Blade. Going for 4, doesn't quite get it himself, but his team definitely pushes back Florida once again, 60% and counting for Shanghai Staggered.
I mean, at this point, do we ask Ryutix to cut it out?
I think he's been cutting out the enemy team of Florida with that beautiful triple kill with the backup of his team. But those swaps right now, Eklo switching off again, actually onto the McCree that Vax was holding before. Vax at about 50%. There is a Valkyrie for Pickle Bingus who is really low, getting the mega health back. Well decided. Super King Nick flanking here on the right, waiting for his opportunity. Shatter comes out into a wall charge. Die. Double kill Gregory, Vax, and Boss Face all fall down to the die of Super King. Eklo does get the pick onto Runely, not before Super King says, hold on, let me get a 4K, and gets Eklo as well.
The icing on the cake, Spiff, right here is that if this is a 100-0, Shanghai taking it with no contest from Florida.
I am clapping. Florida was coming back, in my opinion, on that second point of Ilios. Third map goes to Shanghai, and what do we got for the play of the game?
Well, it comes from Bray183. Here he's shielded. He does not earn Earthshatter, but he's going to charge, go for it. Will get sucked in, but somehow escapes the void into the double kill and the triple and the four-man kill. That's a four-man counted kill from that Reinhardt.
A beautiful match between two really good teams. It's going to be Shanghai, though, taking it 3-2. And, I mean, the way that the OCC works with the fifth tiebreaker being a control map, it's almost always going to be in favor of Shanghai. So, again, I was thrown off by the well on how well, see, I can do puns too, that Florida did. Hey, you've had a lot of bad ones. Let me have my bad ones. So I feel like I'm part of the team, because Florida really stepped their game up on the well. They got the point first, and they held it for, they were holding them back, and they got it at the end. I was just blown away by how well Florida was able to take that, even though it was just 1 out of 3. They played the well very well.
Just to make sure that we didn't forget how good Shanghai Staggered are on control maps, they made sure that map number 3, the enemy team, didn't get a single percentage on the board. So, you know, with that being said, we did expect Shanghai Staggered to take this game number 5. At one point after the well game, I thought that it was actually going to be maybe a really tight game on map number 3. Is that what you guys were expecting, Rambino? Is that what you were expecting? Maybe a tighter fight towards the very end of this series?
Anything less would just leave me wanting more, Julik. You know that we have a flair for the good stuff, and they gave it to us.
Were you, Spiff, this question's for you. Were you satisfied by the way both teams performed here on game number 5? We were really excited to get to this point. They took us all the way to the very end. What are your final thoughts on this final match?
I am very, very happy and satisfied with some great Overwatch and what happened, because I expected a 2-0 again, what we saw in Lijiang for Shanghai on the control point, and I am just so impressed and happy of Florida being able to make the well back and forth. I mean, they had their own percentages on the Lighthouse, but I feel that they were switching off maybe just a little bit too much, and they weren't able to push back Shanghai. And Shanghai, maybe they were just super hype. They knew they were having it. They knew they had the edge, and they came out on top.
That is true. So we're gonna wrap this up for tonight. That's gonna be 3-2 in favor of Shanghai Staggered. I want to know your final thoughts, Rambino. We're gonna start off with you. Closing words, please.
I want to say thank you once again for having me, Julik and Spiff. It is an honor to be casting alongside the Big Three, as we're called in some circles. And
Wait, what?
without a doubt, it is always a pleasure to hear the kind of things you say about us. We are definitely appreciative of you.
Spiff, please.
My final shout outs, of course, is Julik. Excellent production work. Love the things you bring to the field. Allows me and Rambino to do our things, and we know that you have our back. We can give you. It's like Julik, top notch. Rambino, top notch. Love the puns, despite that I love to hate them. Great color casting, finding the things that I don't, and always able to fill in so I can at least take a drink of water. But I can't do this without you two. So I'm happy that we're the Big Three. I wonder if we could just be like the medium-sized three, because I'm not a big man. But it was a pleasure, and it was a great match of Overwatch.
And yes, with that being said, I want to thank everyone that tuned in tonight to the OWCC Twitch channel. You can find us on Twitter and Twitch. Rambino, what is your handle?
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on twitch.tv/ChildishRambino. It's like Childish Gambino, but instead of a G, it's an R. You can find it below. But I have to also ask Spiff, where can we find you?
Guys, I am Spiff-tastic me. I do stream about Saturday through Thursday, which is basically every single day of the week, except for Friday, at 6 Eastern. I am trying to make that a real thing. If you want to come over see some positive, family-friendly gameplay of Overwatch, we're starting Yakuza 0 on the hardest difficulty tomorrow at 6. We've done a lot of random things like Danganronpa. We've done Undertale. Guys, I also do support. So when I see support, when I play Overwatch, you're going to see platinum, positive gameplay from me on Spifftastic Me. You can find my information down below with the stream, Twitch and Twitter, Spifftastic Me. Hope to see you there.
And I'm just going to wrap it up. My name is Julik. You can find me on Twitter at Julik487. On Twitch, it's just straight up Julik. But once again, make sure you hit that follow button on the OWCC Twitter channel. We have more exciting matches coming up in the upcoming weekends, as well as Season 2 of the Overwatch Community Cup starting very soon. Some new teams coming online, as well as new faces, new casters, new everything. So you want to make sure that you hit that follow button and tune in whenever you can. Once again, thank you to you, Spiff. Rambino, thank you for joining me tonight, and everyone in the chat. Have a good evening.